You can't spell sports talk radio without Marc Daniels. This is the beat of sports.
Happy Friday and happy start to the NFL season. You know why I say that, Chris?
Rookies report.
The Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champion, are the first NFL team to have an official practice for the upcoming year with rookies reporting today.
Let's go.
How about that?
I need football.
Like a football Friday.
Love it.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm fantastic, Mark. How are you?
Got a haircut yesterday.
You did? Did you go shorter than normal?
No, I'll go back and tighten up.
Okay.
A couple of weeks. I'm getting the haircut. The woman that typically cuts my hair. Got a great clips. The old guy that know everybody comes in.
Hey, Becca.
Exactly. Exactly. I sit down, and the woman that cuts my hair is the manager of the shop as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And door opens up, and I guess he comes like once a week or so forth.
Tracy, how the kids?
Chris, were you there? Wait. He comes in. He goes and gets, the little dum-dum lollipops?
Yep.
He puts one in his mouth like he's Telly Savalas or something on Kojak. And he knows everybody. And I'm changing names. Like you just said, Becca. Hey, Susie, what's happening? He goes, who's going to be lucky to get me today? And so forth. Yeah.
Michelle, you and the husband okay?
Like yeah. And I can't tell if they like him or can't stand the fact that he's doing this thing again. So, and he's like over my shoulder getting his hair done, and he's still talking to everybody. Yeah. Still talking to everybody. And I'm like, hey, can you let the stylist just lock in on what she's got to do here? Yeah.
Nancy, it's okay to let yourself go once in a while. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Indulge.
Yeah. What's going on? What are we doing? It's like, who's the old guy that knows everybody at the Great Clips? Yeah.
Susie, how'd Brian do on his math test?
Yeah. I swear, were you there? Because it's exactly what this guy was. Yeah. And the whole time he's got the lollipop in his mouth while the woman's cutting his hair and everything. Yeah.
That's weird having a lollipop while getting your hair cut.
I left before he was done, but I'm guessing he rips out a wad of ones. He's like, here's two for you. Yep. Here's another one for you. And
Buy yourself something pretty.
Yeah. So that happened.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Knew everybody. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Doing the gun finger thing as it comes in. What's going on, everybody?
Love it.
Wow. Yeah. It's great.
Love it.
Great. You know what? He's enjoying life. It's all good, man.
Good for him.
Yeah.
You think he was retired?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, I think this is, if he comes every week, it's a big highlight of the week for him. And he thinks when he opens the door, they're all like, yes, he's back. And I couldn't tell. I just don't want to be that guy. What are you pouring? What are you drinking?
Liquid Death energy drink.
Of course.
Second one this morning.
There you go. Attaboy.
I'm like DK Metcalf, baby.
That was insane.
I'm telling you, I had
one meal for dinner, like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
I had
4 bags of candy and 1 cup of coffee.
I had 2 sleeves of sweet tarts in bed last night.
Yeah, let's take a look at the comparison of you to him.
If I worked out, I could be like DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't squash my dreams, Mark.
Right. All right, here's everybody's favorite segment.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? 1 Forrest 1.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CV's dad joke of the day.
Oh, that's so great.
All right. Got to end the week strong here.
Wearing my Tottenham t-shirt today.
I see that. At least you're not wearing white. Not looking like a ghost on this Friday.
My man Harry Kane playing big third place match tomorrow.
All right, Mark.
Harry used to play for Tottenham.
Mark, I'm going to end the week strong here. How do radios greet each other?
I don't know, Chris. How do radios greet each other?
with airwaves.
And we're off. There we go. You can listen to the show live on 96.9 FM, 740 AM dial on the iHeart app anywhere in the world. Free to download the app, make it a preset button, and listen to us there. The live stream is up. Got to be better, Chris.
I know. We're disappointing people.
No, got to be better. Go to our YouTube page, 96 The Game Orlando. Click on the logo and the live button. You can watch the stream. Also access the stream at Twitter on at 96.9 Game On. I want to do two things here. Somebody sent a tweet. You can send me a tweet at UCF Marc Daniels, or you can do it at the Beat of Sports. I sometimes don't respond to radio show related stuff on the UCF account because not that I have to keep it UCF stuff, but somebody heard our interview with J.C. Carnahan, who had the story about the Dreamers seeking DDT money, and wondered if I'd seen the report that the Dreamers had put out about economic impact and things like that. And I appreciate the person tweeting at me and thought maybe I was confused about some of the stuff that they're doing. No, I'm not. And let me repeat, I applaud the people with the Dreamers that are trying to pursue getting a baseball team to Orlando. I want as much sports here as possible. I don't know about that robot fighting, but I want as much sports here as possible. And all I'm trying to do is understand a little bit about the process, one, about what they're trying to do, and don't just say trying to get a baseball team. I understand that. But here's a couple things. I read everything that they put out. And this isn't a criticism. When you seek an economic impact study with somebody, you are paying to get a result that you want. That's not criticizing the Dreamers or the Rays or anybody else. You have to show me the first team that paid for an economic impact study and it came back going, not a good idea. I don't think I'd do it. That doesn't happen. Okay? Every sports team or group seeking a sports franchise, when they pay for an economic impact study, they're paying for a result that they want. And I've done this long enough to realize the number of jobs, the dollar amount that people project is it's a false guess. It's a false guess. Now, there's no argument. If we build a baseball stadium, it leads to jobs, short-term jobs. Nowhere near the number that anybody, Dreamers, Rays, whatever city projects it to be. The billions of dollars in economic impact that they project is nothing more than a guess, because you don't really know. The idea of money being made by an ownership group and giving it back to the community to build roads and things like that, it's nice in theory, but it's also impossible to guess legitimate numbers of something like that, because in many ways, it's not how government works. You know, Chris may not like the pavement on the street that he lives on. He doesn't go to the city and say, here's $100,000. Can you pave the 50 yards in front of it? It doesn't really work that way. So again, let me say this. I applaud the people with the Dreamers that are pursuing something, but there's also a few other things in play here. What they're pursuing, the reality is an expansion team. Okay? If the Rays cannot get a deal done in the Tampa, Hillsborough County area, then they would seek to relocate. If the Rays are to relocate and say we're going to open it up, they could choose, hey, let's call Orlando first, okay? Who do you think they make the phone call to? In all due respect, either A, the people with the Dreamers are willing to invest whatever amount of money in building a stadium because the team's not for sale. They're not selling the Rays. So really, the phone call would be to Orange County and the city of Orlando to say, look, would you have an interest in partnering to build a baseball stadium? They don't really need to call the Dreamers unless they go, look, do you want to be an investor in a stadium? And I don't know how much they could sell the team because, by the way, they really had to come up and be creative in getting baseball to approve the current makeup of the ownership. The Dreamers would need to seek an owner if they're seeking an expansion franchise to say, well, if not the Rays, other teams to relocate. That's not an ownership exchange unless an owner says, I'm out and I sell it. So there's a lot of different things in play here, and I applaud their efforts. I'm not anti-dreamers. I'm just trying to be realistic as to what is out there. And if the Rays find a deal to be made in the Tampa Bay area, come on. Does anybody believe Major League Baseball is going to put another team 70 miles away, or even if they end up staying in St. Pete, 95 miles away? I mean, it's got to be realistic there. Either A, the Rays move here, or they move someplace else. Otherwise, Major League Baseball's not putting a team within 70 to 95 miles of another baseball team in a state that's been challenged when it comes to attendance. So, hope the Rays move to Montreal or Raleigh-Durham or Charlotte or Nashville or Orlando, because you got to be a little bit of common sense here along the way. And economic impact studies, again, everybody pays to get the result they want. And I want as many sports events and teams to come here as possible. You just got to be a little bit realistic. They're not selling the team in Tampa. If they want to talk to Orlando about moving here, maybe they make a phone call to say, look, that $1 billion you have pledged, do you want to build a partnership? Because they don't own that land. That's not the Dreamers' land at that area, which, by the way, I'm not even convinced would be the site. There are other areas that might be better, but they're calling the county. Why? Because the county's the one that's got those billions in TDT money to spend. So, anyway, I just want to follow up on that tweet, which is fine. I appreciate the person who sent me the tweet about that. Somebody want to know do I want to chop it up with Chris Russo?
Yeah, someone texted in, hey, be great to have Marc Daniels interview Chris Russo.
I think it's been 6-7 years, maybe longer, when Chris had a book out and he did the whole tour thing and he was on the show. But Chris doesn't need to do, he does enough set places that he jumps on once in a while. But it'd be great to talk to Chris, because all I would do is talk about old times, the 80s and early 90s.
And I'll make sure I have some Gator cuts ready.
Give me some Gator football. But yeah, no, it's been a while since I've spoken to Chris, who did sit in not this chair, but was one of the original sports talk hosts of what this frequency was back when it was 740 on the news talk station. Chris left, and then I've said this before. Chris left. John Anthony came in. John did the show for years. I moved to Orlando just as John was leaving to take a job at UPI, which doesn't exist anymore, in Washington. And I was right spot, right time. And they said, how about $25 a show? And I said, deal. It's like Kramer taking free coffee than the money settlement in the coffee case in Seinfeld. Anyway, 10 o'clock hour, WYGM Orlando, WJR HD2 Cocoa Beach, Orlando sports leader. Bobby from Bowegans is here. He walks in, Chris. I find a big TV star. Like, we go do the show last Friday and everything. Next thing I know, he's all over the place.
Oh, yeah, I know.
TV stars and everything. So, man, we're lucky that he even came in here today, Wow.
I was laughing about the main point of that story is I thought I had a little light day, and we had the radio show that morning and had a couple beers and get a phone call that they want to do a live news segment. Like, when? Like, now. I'm like, let's go for it.
So how long from the phone call did they show up?
Enough time for me to run across the street, get a Celsius, and kind of get back to it.
All right.
Celsius for the win, baby.
Well, cool. We had a great time last week. It was really fun being out there, and I appreciate you opening the place early, and nice to see our listeners come by. And we had a really good time, and that was just a precursor to Saturday. So I had the grand opening Saturday.
Saturday was great. We were busy from the time we opened the door till just about time we closed.
Yeah.
It was.
Had the music
great.
work good and everything?
Music was great. Live music was a big hit. We had some great musicians out.
Yeah.
It was just a great time. Food was great. Kitchen was flowing. So I was ecstatic.
Great.
It was fun. We forgot a couple things at the beginning. Actually, I had to run back out, and I had to go get some towels because obviously, we need bar towels, and I completely forgot that. So I'm running back in, and my girlfriend calls me. She's like, we're not gonna be busy right at 12. We'll probably be fine. I get a call like 12:01. She goes, I was wrong.
Yeah.
There's a line to the door. I'm like, I'm almost there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was good. It was a great time.
Yeah, very cool.
What's
Good.
incredible is, as slammed as you guys were, and we had ordered I stopped in before going out to Avalon. We had ordered a mushroom goat cheese pizza. Came out like that. Your food comes out so quick, even with it being so slammed. Food's out almost instantly.
The kitchen was on it.
Yeah,
we
are
got
you
a good
sucking
crew
up or
there.
what? I think you're good with him. You don't have to keep sucking up. It's all right.
No, it's
I know his
incredible.
I'm
performance
just
review is
joking.
coming
I'm
up.
just
Mark.
joking. I'm just joking. But I mean, were you prepared for the onslaught of that from a food standpoint? I mean, I bet I got a little in the weeds back there.
We were for Saturday.
Yeah.
Sunday got a little dicey. We actually had to shut down the kitchen for Monday just to restock. Like we're out of food, and like a lot of it, like our bread takes a couple days because it has to bake and it's all fresh. And like we undershot a little bit.
And you rolled out some new stuff too on Saturday, right? A couple of items.
Yeah. I got a buffalo chicken flatbread, a caprese sandwich. We had some new desserts that we're doing with all our different beers that has been going over fantastic. And yeah, we went through some stuff this weekend. So
Nice.
we're back at it. We're rocking and rolling, fully stocked.
Nice. What'd you bring today? That's a funky looking bottle right there. Yeah. Can I should say.
So this is one of the releases. I think one of the ones that we didn't get to last week on the show, but this was the other release we did, this Mantis Mayhem. We have this in cans. I'm showing here on the live stream.
Oh, wow.
So our hazy IPA, we do like I call it a neon animal series of like hazy IPA. So this is the newest creation in that.
It's got a little classic 1970s sci-fi movie poster look. To
Yeah,
it,
I've kind of created this like dystopian world. These crazy animals live in. I don't know if anybody else is excited about it, but I do. So, yeah, I kind of go with that whole like almost 80s like Miami Vice kind of colors in this animal dystopian world. But so yeah, this hazy IPA here is brewed with Vic's Secret, Crush, and anchovy hops. And as Chris, I think
anchovy hops
came back and asked me the other day, like,
I had to make sure.
Are there anchovies in this beer? No, it's just the name of the hop.
What flavors are you getting?
You are. What are you like? Freaking out? Just get an anchovy.
To be fair, I had to make sure of the pronunciation when doing the spot for it.
Of anchovy.
I wasn't sure if it was like anchovy or anchovy.
Are you serious?
I had to make sure. Sorry, I'm being a professional.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, no, actually, you're not the only person to even ask that. We've had people come in and
made
like,
with anchovy.
like, I don't want, and maybe it's a testament to what we do because we like to get creative sometimes. And people are like, I just want to verify. Like, I don't want to drink a beer with anchovies. And I'm like, all right, first off, it's a hop, but also, if we did do one, I bet it actually wouldn't be bad. We'd find a way to pull it off.
So what exactly is an anchovy hop?
It's just a nice like American style like citrus tropical fruity hop. It used to have a name like HBC 683 or whatever. They finally
boring.
So on this one, it's just bright. It's like full of tropical flavor, nice and smooth, like our hazies typically are. It's been going over great. Despite the name of the hop, it's been fantastic.
Nice. Awesome.
So I gotta ask, hazy IPA. What are we looking at IBU wise?
This one we're coming in straight at 0.
0.
Yeah, I like to keep them low on the IBUs, which means we add in all the hops after the boil and then the secondary fermentation, so dry hopping, whirlpooling, all of that good stuff. So when we come out with that 0 IBUs, that means we're not adding any hops in the boil. So we're not extracting what we're calling alpha acids, which we get from those hops into that beer. So with this, you're left with that soft, juicy, pillowy mouthfeel from like the oats and the wheat that we have in the beer, and then you pile on those hop aromatics and flavors, and that's what we got. We got
start to finish. Mayhem. How long will it take to finish that?
This one, we let it go about 3 weeks. Our hazies, we do usually 2-week fermentation process, and then we let it sit for about a week. Just the pure amount of hops that we do add in this one takes just a little bit, a couple days to kind of mellow out and hit those right flavor notes.
Nice.
With the IBUs at 0, does it mean lower the IBUs, the more juicier finish you're going to have on it?
Not necessarily, because we're still adding in the same amount of hops. If we just add them in earlier, you'd get a little bit, maybe a little bit less sweetness, more of that bitterness, that kind of backbone that you would get in like a traditional IPA. But we mess around with it sometimes. Like but I Don't Want to Be a Pirate has about 30-ish IBUs. So we do hazies with hops in the boil as well. Just sometimes on these, we like to test the boundaries and do some stuff that we're normally not used to.
Are hazies a beer that you could age, or is it better to drink it fresh?
Nah, you'd want to drink it fresh. Anything with hops, especially this amount of hops, hops age quickly. Even if we're doing like a big barley wine, like a beer that you normally would age, we throw a ton of hops at the beginning, and those mellow out and kind of fade out, and you get new flavors throughout the year. Like this one, like the star of the show is the hops. So you want to drink this one fresh. Typically our life span for like hazies and stuff like that is 3 months and under. The fresher the better. So once we release them, we do them in quantities we know, people can come get them. They can move, and we're not going to sit around on it.
There's four or five different glassware that you guys use at Bowegan's. How important is the proper glassware for the right style of beer?
It's very important. I mean, anybody that's talked to me about this, we do a beer school.
Can't keep that plastic mug from Wrigley Field for a year and pour the beer into it. What's going on?
I mean, remember it depends on the shape and style of it too, Mark. For me, like if I could have a different glassware for every beer we have, I would do it. But obviously that's not feasible. So we stick to about 4 or 5 different styles we have and each one does a different service to the beer, whether it's helping with aromatics, whether it's helping like if a certain beer you want to warm up more, you might have more of your hand placement on that glass, or if it's an IPA, ours are kind of tapered to where you have a little bit less, so you're not warming the beer up as much with your hand, and it tapers up on the top where it's bringing those aromatics to your nose. Like our classic revival glasses we have in the tap room have a very wide mouth, and that's just to spread the beer across your entire palate. So each one does its specific thing. I can nerd out and talk about glassware for a while. So it's again, so answer your simple question, yes, it's very important.
And then real quick, the IPA glass you have now is different from the one you've had previously. How are those two glasses different?
Yeah, so the other one, the old one we used to have was very tapered at the nose. It was a very small and like almost like cylindrical, like long tapered glass, which was very good for bringing aromatics into just like right to your olfactory senses in your nose. The one we have now, again, it's a little bit more tapered. So the handheld, you're not warming it up as much. There's less contact surface area with your hand on the glass. And then it has a little bit more of a wider uh, uh, top to it, like on the very, very tippy top of it. And that will help, not only bring the aromatics to your nose, but help kind of spread the beer out throughout your palate.
Bobby, tell folks what else is going on and how they can find you.
Yeah, so we're gearing up for a couple more events right now. We are preparing for our Sour Fest. We do a traditional Sour Fest every year, shooting for August 22nd there. So there's gonna be a lot more information coming there. So mark your calendars there. We're starting to brew for one of my favorite times of year is our Botoberfest. So we have all kinds of German lagers and stuff that are coming out. They're going into the tanks now, getting that ready, getting our later hosing, dusting that off, and going to throw a big celebration at both Avalon and Castleberry. If you haven't checked this out before, we have 2 locations in Central Florida, one in Castleberry at the corner of 436 and Redbug, newly renovated, new kitchen in there. So check that out. And we also have a location at Avalon Park, the marketplace at Avalon. There's it was in a food hall, tons of different food vendors there. Great time, great experience. So check us out online at bowegans.com, BOWIGENS.com, and out the social medias at Bowegans Beer Company.
Thank you, Bobby. Have a great weekend. Appreciate it, man. Back with Richard Hill next.
Time now for this week's Sports Law segment with Richard Hale.
Richard Hale joins us. We talk sports and law on these Fridays. Hale and Jacobson, the firm. I'm at hhjlegal.com. Good morning, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
Very good, thank you. I want to dive into some things. We've, over the years, in particular the last couple of years, these NCAA eligibility cases, the most recent in Ohio, with a favorable judge that gave Ohio-based players of universities in Ohio eligibility for that extra year. Jermichael Stillwell played at UCF last year as part of another lawsuit based the suit filed in Georgia to try to gain eligibility. So I'm curious, does the Ohio ruling make it almost automatic that precedent's been set, that Stillwell and the others would get that eligibility? If not, what would make it different as we're trying to figure out all these players and whether they have an extra year or not? Forget about whether teams have roster spots, but what do you make of the case involving Jermichael Stillwell?
Yeah, good question, Mark. This is not something that would carry over to the state of Georgia. So there's no legal precedent that's been set by the Ohio State Court that would force the Georgia State Court to follow suit. If this were a federal case, then we'd be having a different conversation because the federal case would have broader ramifications to other states. But when we're talking about one state to the other, not necessarily. However, that being said, certainly the lawyers for Stillwell are going to argue that it should be persuasive to the judges in Georgia court that the Ohio state courts have found similarly. Why? Because judges like to be right. And judges like knowing that somebody else out there thinks the same way that they do. So they're not necessarily going out on a limb with a new decision and creating their own, legal precedent. They rather at least rely on somebody else who has said something similar. So while it is correct, there would be no binding precedent here where the courts would have to rule accordingly. Certainly, they're going to look to the Ohio courts as some persuasive case law that they can point to and say, look, Judge, if you rule our way in Georgia, you're not the only one. You're not going out on a limb here, and the decision is likely to stick.
It was interesting that in the suit filed in Darren Heitner's, the attorney behind this, they put in there that Stillwell's been promised a spot on the UCF roster. I can't speak for Johnny Dawkins, but just to point out, that doesn't mean he only could sign with UCF. I mean, so just a reminder, if he gets the eligibility, he's still a free agent. I mean, it'd be nice for UCF if he comes back, but it doesn't bind him to UCF.
Yeah, and you make a good point, and I think it's the point that needs to be made in many of these cases is, we're still in an extremely volatile situation in college sports where these athletes are not tied to any university in particular. Whether we start to see that in NIL agreements moving forward, I think is very curious and something we're going to keep our eye on moving forward.
We talked last week, the interesting Bryce Harper story. He does a video with Cameo. He mentions FanDuel. We then learn that, well, the MLB's got to deal with FanDuel. FanDuel's got to deal with Cameo, where you can use videos. His PR people, maybe a legal team, said, hey, we got to put out a statement. We didn't know this is what this was for, how it was going to be used. So I'm kind of curious, does Bryce Harper have a legal case against Cameo and or FanDuel here, and what might be the next step if there is anything legally?
Yeah, certainly going to come down to what's in the fine print here. It's very clear that Bryce Harper did allow his name, image, likeness to be used by Cameo. Now, whether or not he could anticipate that Cameo was going to turn around and use that to encourage someone through FanDuel to keep gambling or keep betting remains to be seen. I've seen the video message. There's nothing in it to suggest that he is encouraging anybody to gamble. That's number one. Number two, did he know that video was going to be used for such purpose? Bryce Harper has said no. Now, whether or not in the contract that he signed with Cameo, there's some fine print where he, waived the ability to come back and say, hey, you couldn't use it for this, that, the other. I'm not sure. I'm not privy to the contract. But I will say this. Certainly, the lines have become blurred, and you and I have talked about this, between major sports, and including Major League Baseball, and these gambling websites. Not only are they out there promoting FanDuel, promoting DraftKings, allowing some of their players to be tied to advertisements for both, but that line has become super blurred at this point. And so where we have athletes that are connecting their name, image, and likeness to any platform where there is the potential that it's going to be used on a gambling site. These guys got to watch out. And so, you got to be super vigilant about reading the contract and making sure that you understand what it says. And if you're going to restrict your name, image, and likeness to certain parameters, then make sure you've got a good lawyer reading that contract that can do that for you.
Can't imagine the law team that's advising Michigan. The position by the president a few days ago was they do not plan on releasing the report that was going to investigate their own athletic department. Now he changed his tune. 2 days ago, he said, well, we're thinking about it. I don't know what side you want to play lawyer for this discussion here, but I would think the legal team of Michigan is probably telling Michigan, yeah, there's some things in there you may not want out, but at some point that report's going to get out. What legal obligation does Michigan have if they do to release this report? Because it's going to get out, Richard. I mean, we've seen this before.
Yeah, the proverbial catch-22 for the Michigan legal team, right? You've got a situation where you asked this outside firm to come in, do the investigation, I'm sure at great expense to the University of Michigan. You found out some things within that report that you certainly don't want to turn over. What that is, we're still not sure. But you're a public institution. And so as a public institution, you've availed yourself to public records requests and other things. And so the argument there is, hey, this is a report that we should have access to. The public has a right to know, and there needs to be an investigation into what went on and the findings of this report. Now, the other side of that coin, if I'm going to play the other lawyer, I'm saying, well, that's attorney-client privilege information. We hired this firm specifically to do this report for us, to do this investigation for us. So anything they found is protected under the attorney-client privilege. Now, what we'd have to do a more careful review of the laws of the state of Michigan, whether the attorney-client privilege can protect that type of public information. I don't think it would fly as an argument, but if I'm making any argument at the University of Michigan, that's the one that I'm making first and foremost. But like you said, Mark, I think we all see the handwriting on the wall here, which is at the end of the day, Michigan's going to have to give up this report.
The next story seems like it's from an episode of Seinfeld. Instead of Boca del Vista, we're at Boca Woods Country Club, where we have a logo on a pickleball court that may have been too slippery. Pickleball player falls, and lawsuit is just the classic slip and fall of the pickleball logo at Boca Woods Country Club.
Yeah, you got Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer out there playing. Kramer takes a fall. Very interesting. They are obviously what we're going to call business invitees of the Boca Vista. So you do owe them a higher standard of care as the person that invited them onto your premises. And what does that mean? Well, we got to protect them. How do we protect them? We give them nice playing surfaces to play on. Obviously, there are some inherent risks in playing pickleball. We can all appreciate those. But where we've created an unsafe condition, and by unsafe condition, I mean we've put a big logo on the court that if it gets wet can be slippery. Now we've created a bit of a dangerous condition for them. So this lawsuit does not only include the Del Vista apartment complex, but also includes the manufacturer of the logo. Because the argument is that it wasn't non-stick, right? It was when it got wet, it became slippery. Kramer took a tumble, and now we have a lawsuit. So safe to say, I think this is probably something that resolves out of court. I mean, if we're getting hyper technical, yeah, you could make the argument that the non-stick portion of this wasn't the fault of the company. Maybe they had outsourced that to somebody else. Maybe there was a type of painting or covering that was over it that caused it to be slippery. I mean, we could get super granular about that, but I think at the end of the day, this type of case that settles out of court.
Here's the crazy story to follow up with this. So a couple of years ago, my wife and I tried to take our annual trip to New York, and I'll go run Central Park in the morning, okay? Well, now at Central Park, the ice skating rink in the summertime is turned into pickleball courts. So a couple of years ago, Richard, I'm just doing my typical stroll, and you got to run smart in Central Park, otherwise you get run over by the bikers or the runners and everything. Well, they shut down like 4 to 6 pickleball courts because there was an upcoming tournament. And do you know what they shut the courts down for? Because the logo had not been properly placed on the courts, and they shut down like half the courts available that Saturday morning. So Hence, beware of that logo on the pickleball court.
Pickleball drama at its finest.
Yeah. Have a great weekend, Richard. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care, Mark.
Yeah, I'm running. I stop and they go, hey, what's going on? I think the logo was not put down properly for the so-and-so tournament coming up. Had some pissed off pickleball people.
You don't mess with pickleballers.
Well, Chris claims to be a pickleball.
I'll take on you and MOD anytime.
My pickleball partner, Mike O'Donnell, talks basketball next.
This is Step Back 3 with MOD. Straightaway 3, it's it. Let's talk college hoops. Let's talk hoops with college basketball analyst Mike O'Donnell.
We talk basketball with Mike O'Donnell these Fridays, and appreciate the time that Mike gives us, especially during the summer. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Mr. Daniels, I'm well. I'm actually in the car with the entire O'Donnell family. We are driving north to Tallahassee to visit Uncle Ben and his family and hang with the cousins up in on Florida State's campus up there.
Will you say hi to Uncle Ben and tell him my calves look better than ever?
You know I will, of course. Of course.
True or false, your brother, one of the best in the business when it comes to being in shape, trainer, strength and conditioning, acknowledges Marc Daniels has the greatest calves in the world.
He does acknowledge that.
Yep.
Yeah, he does acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I will tell him that.
Yeah.
And, I saw him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you'll appreciate that. He walked in, and we were hanging out in Clearwater, and I hadn't seen him for about, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 months. And he goes, before you say anything, yes, I'm at least 6 pounds overweight. He goes, don't make a big deal out of it. Something I got to work on, but I'm having a major ice cream issue right now.
Oh,
and so he's, so I wasn't going to say it. I mean, I see it, but I wasn't going to say it,
I'll never forget among many things about Ben when he was with UCF, and you get a pregame meal, and everyone's trying to get a little bit of something, maybe a little salad, some vegetables, and you mix it in a little chicken, steak, and so forth. And Ben's cutting up 6 chicken breasts and just eating 6 chicken breasts with nothing on it.
Yeah. Ben's also, whenever we have a family function and we're together, he's not allowed to grill anything or cook anything.
Really?
Ben is just deathly afraid of salmonella. And
every day, huh?
He will cook the chicken on the grill to the point of where it's basically just like a burnt potato chip. That's what it turns into. And his kids, my kids, and he's not allowed to cook anymore. He's not allowed to grill anymore. He is so afraid of it that if there's any if it's too juicy, he goes, there's got to be something wrong with it. I said, no, Ben, this is how normal people eat food, and he just refuses. Yeah, refuses to do it.
By the way, before
can I just share one thing very briefly?
Yes.
We're driving and going to Tallahassee from Orlando. You're going right up the middle of the state in towns you don't normally visit, and we're about right around Lake Weir, where we're turning onto another kind of little county road, and there was a car pulling a trailer, and on top of the trailer, it was a normal car. On top of the trailer was a prop plane. It was a prop engine plane. Just
really,
we're just towing planes, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
why not?
The most bizarre thing because there's ranches everywhere, and we're just towing prop planes around. It was when you don't see something like that normally every day in Orlando.
Right. By the way, before we get to the basketball portion, which we will, Richard Hill was on before you, as he is, and the last story we talked about, not Boca del Vista, but the Boca Woods Country Club has a pickleball lawsuit going on because they put a new logo on the pickleball court, and maybe Jack Klumpus fell on the logo because it was too slick, and we have a lawsuit going on at the Boca Woods Country Club. How great is that?
Or you got a Kramer-like individual who is a little too young to be in the retired community. It just went too hard in the pickleball courts. Pickleball, lawsuits. I got to think are got to be really intense.
Not knocking it. I know your wife's sitting next to you, so I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it.
Here, and she's not. If we're bad mouthing pickleball, she's pretty upset.
Not knocking anything. I'm just telling you about a lawsuit. That's all.
Yeah.
Although I did tell Chris Vasquez, you and I will meet him in the kitchen anytime.
I'll wreck both of you.
I'm just saying.
There's no. I will bring the paprika, my friend.
Well, that was good. Let me kind of pivot to basketball. I asked you last week with the World Cup going on and everyone evaluating how we develop players in U.S. soccer, and you give kind of a basketball spin. I do want to ask you, as this game evolves and changes, people look at Messi, the best in the world, and he weighs about 150, 155 pounds. He's barely 5 feet, 8 or 9, whatever he may officially be. in basketball, and people were questioning Jalen Brunson with his size, can he win a championship? How has the size of a player played a role also in development, whether small guys are being pushed out at the college level, if we don't want
Yeah.
the natural low post? I'm just curious your view of how the size of a player's changed over the years.
Yeah, because the way offenses are they're so unique, and they're so focused on actually hunting for the smaller players, right? Where you're not just in the NBA, but in colleges, you're running offenses into where you have your wings and or your bigger guards that are going to hunt for the smaller guards. So it's a lot more of a defensive liability the way that the game is played. But what is interesting is that the smaller players that make it, it's not about passing as much anymore. Although you can make a case that is coming back in some capacity. Watching Braden Smith at Purdue and Jeremy Fears at Michigan State. But you have to. There's no doubt if you're going to be a shorter NBA player, you have to be able to shoot three. Have to, and not just like in a good level. It's one of the more amazing things about Jose Alvarado for New York, and the fact that he's one of the shorter guards in the NBA. What really separates him is his defense. That he's just such it's not an elite defender, right? It's elite plus defender, and that's how he's able to make a difference. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's a good ball handler, and it's less about running your team nowadays, and it's more about if you're smaller in stature, can you bring one elite component to the floor that can make up for the fact that you are going to get hunted when you're playing defense? I think Creighton Pritchard's a great example of that. He's quietly one of the better ball handlers in the NBA. Nobody talks about it, but he's an electrifying three-point shooter. And because of that, even though he's a smaller player, he has what's called more gravity, and that teams can't take a possession off when you're guarding Peyton Pritchard. And so that from a skill development standpoint, if you're a smaller guard, and if you're a great ball handler, and if you're a great leader, and if you're a really good defender, it doesn't matter as much as it used to. You have to be able to shoot the three. That is just of paramount importance when you're talking smaller guards and skill development. That three-point shot has to be great.
I want to play something for you. Coaches and their view of the system and how it's changed and how difficult things are. Brent Key, and I don't know, I mean, you may have known Brent when he was at UCF. He was on Georgia Leary's staff. Yeah, and Brent's now at Georgia Tech, and I'm so happy for his success. I want to play something from his ACC Media Day press conference where he was asked about how players have changed and then get your comments back.
Be able to change. And like people say, kids are different now. Well, so are the adults. We are too. Right? We're the ones that set the example, but the same guys that want to complain about a lot of the things in college football need to look themselves in the mirror. They're the ones jumping jobs every 2 years too. Let's be real.
Good for him. Kind of refreshing to say, hey, we're all part of this thing. And I just thought it was one of those things like, yeah, don't forget that side of it too.
Yeah, that is true. And the one thing I will say though, to where I think I kind of tend to think it's a little bit too surface level in terms of conversation. And this isn't a knock on what Brent is saying at all. It's when you've got a lot of media members, whether it's college football or college basketball or wherever. Anytime a fan base complains about a player leaving, what they point to is, hey, your coach just jumped ship, or you just got a new coach in a year or 2 years, and you didn't say anything. Well, why is there a difference between a coach and a player bouncing around? Well, the one thing I will say to comment off, he's right, in that there are plenty of adults who they bounce from job to job, and that job, they're most of the time when you're bouncing from job to job, you're either it has to do with money. Most of the time, when players are leaving from job to job, they're going from school to school to school, it's because of money. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. But when you start when you start narrowing down there, you can't compare a coach leaving to a player leaving. Number one, the responsibility that a coach has it dwarfs in any capacity the responsibility that a player has. It's just not even close. As a player, you're outside of, you could say, well, as a player, you're responsible for your teammates. I mean, in some ways, yes, that's more of a captain leadership conversation. But as a player, you're responsible for your grades. You're responsible for your shooting. You're responsible for your skill development. And that's it. You're not responsible for anybody else's. And as a coach, you're responsible for an entire program. It's much different. And it is definitely different. Now, what I will say with Brent is right in the fact that where I think he's going with this, he's saying, we can't just get mad at players for leaving for money when you leave for money. That is correct. One of the differences where we've got to find the middle ground of where it's okay, to say that you're leaving for more money, but we have to get back. We get to the point of where I think if it's said more, it loses less of its sting. I don't always agree with that. I will be the first one to tell you that if you're just making decisions for money, I think you're making a mistake. I think there's more to life than the short-term burst of cash that you get in the first couple of years of playing college basketball or college football. That I think you're missing out on a long-term investment. We've had that conversation a lot, but I understand where Brent's coming from. At the same time, I also think he does that from a recruiting standpoint of where you can't recruit against that. Right? There's not another coach that's going to say, hey, look, if you go to Georgia Tech and Brent Key's going to say he's going to run you off, he's going to be really upset. Well, that's a really great recruiting tool by Brent Key as well from a narrative standpoint.
Two final basketball things, I'll let you go. The NCAA chooses Wichita as the other opening round city, and when they announced them, my thought was, yeah, not bad, pretty good choice. Your thought?
A great basketball town. The city of Wichita, very similar in its aspects to Dayton, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Dayton has a better little bit, still kind of wins that argument.
Yeah.
But Wichita is a perfect city of keeping it tight. And they have a great venue, a great basketball history, and that fan base, it's a very intellectual basketball fan base that will go to as many games as possible, regardless of if they have a relationship there. But the city will do well, and they will 100% put on a show. And from a travel standpoint, I think the fact that it's right in the middle of the continental United States does help from a travel standpoint.
I don't know if it's a time to fight back from the European teams, but Mario Saint-Supéré was a guard at Gonzaga. They had high expectations this season. They're still pretty good, but he goes back to Europe signing with Valencia. A little bit deeper dive, but those that are covered this say that the money became such that he couldn't pass it up. I don't know, because you and I have talked about the impact of European players in college basketball where the money's really good, that maybe some European teams are fighting back. It's a big blow right now to Gonzaga to lose somebody at this stage. So I don't know if this is the re-rate of the Europeans trying to get some players back.
Yeah, it's definitely that. How many times have we talked about the fact that these Euro leagues, like nobody's happy. Like FIBA's not happy that the best players are leaving and going over to the States and playing in college because they're making more money. Nobody's happy about that over there. And so you're starting that this may be, that pebble that rolls down the hill that continues to pick up steam and it becomes this huge snowball effect. Because Saint-Supéré was going to be Saint-Supéré, Saint-Supéré, that's how you pronounce it, was going to be a really, really good player. I even think potential. There was even All-American conversation. So it does matter from a money standpoint. I will say though that the next, if you're really worried about it, is when an American-born player decides to leave Gonzaga to go play overseas in the middle of the season. That's where, and it can't just happen that easy. But that's going to be. You might see FIBA fighting back in that capacity, in some ways for that. But that's going to be a start. There's no doubt about it. It really hurts Gonzaga because Saint-Supéré is a very, very good player, and it's even it's extra fuel to fire for Gonzaga Mark, because they're actually taking a step up in conference play this season because they're in the Pac-12.
He'll be replaced by 23-year-old Nathan DeSosa from France. Anyway, let me end with three quick questions about the O'Donnell drive to Tallahassee right now. Ready?
Okay. Yep.
The ideal pit stop for the MOD family, how long, and is it really focused on get in, get out, if there is a pit stop?
We have a routine when we go to Tallahassee. It's maybe an hour, a little over an hour from our house. We stop at a place that we just stopped at called Happy Dave's. Happy Dave's is right in the middle of the state of Florida. It's like a miniature Buc-ee's, and it became a random stop for us last year, and now we have to make sure we stop at Happy Dave's every single trip.
There's something you get there all the time, or?
Oh, they got some really great hot fresh donuts there that we've stumbled upon, and they're fantastic.
What is on the entertainment system? Are we listening to a podcast? We're listening to music. What is playing for the O'Donnells during the ride?
We play a couple games on the way up. One of these was Guess the Animal, but we will probably switch to. We don't do podcasts. We'll do a little music, but we do listen to books. Both Addison and Luke really enjoy listening to books, and we're going to be listening to one of the new Harry Potter books in about 15 minutes here.
When you say guess the animal, are you talking about like driving past pockets of land or people in the cars? Like, who's the animal in that car, and it's the fat guy in the back? Is that what you're doing?
No. It's a little bit like 20 questions, right? You're like, hey, I've got an animal in mind, and it's in the sea, and then you try to, and whoever guesses it then gets to pick the next animal.
Last question: do you drive the whole way, or does Annie drive at all?
No, well, Annie likes to drive, and I do too. So Annie's driving this one. On the way back, I'll probably do it on the way back. So we usually split it. Yeah.
Safe travel. Say hi to Ben. Talk to you next week.
You got it. We'll do. Thanks, Mark.
Mike O'Donnell with a little bit of inside basketball and so much more in life.
Do you think they know him at the donut place?
Well, I don't know how often they drive. Like, hey, Mike's here.
You think Mike goes in there? Yeah, they know me here.
Oh, yeah. When a dozen donuts, they know me. They usually throw in a couple extra. You think so? You drop one of those? Sometimes give me like 15, so 31 a dozen. Well, is the manager around?
They
think
know
like that?
me here.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Nah. I think, kind of curious, though, if the kids get donuts, because Mike and Andy, they're pretty health conscious there, so,
Do you, when you go on long road trips,
long road trip. My wife is going to Disney Springs from my house, and I live in downtown Orlando.
Never mind.
Yeah, my wife, me. I mean, longest road trip I make these days, I'm driving to South Florida to see my family. But go on. What was your question?
So what I like to do, and me and my wife do this all the time, we play the alphabet game. So your goal is to get through the whole alphabet, finding letters that start with, or finding words that start with the letter that you're on. So A, you look at a license plate. If it starts with an A, there's your A. You move on to B, all the way down to Z.
So you just scream out in the middle of the car?
Yeah. Applebee's.
And
B on the license plate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess you probably always win, right? Take advantage of your wife being English her second language, and you probably just...
Actually, she's the one that always wins because I'm the one driving.
Uh-huh.
And she cheats.
Oh, I'm sure she appreciates that if she's listening right now.
She doesn't cheat.
She cheats. Huh?
I always tell her that she cheats.
I mean, the last long
she always
drive,
wins.
the last long drives when, and he drove to and from when Stephen Brank and I were going to Auburn, and did that 6+ hours, everything. And again, thanks to him, he had that big tank that we're driving. It was comfortable and it was fine. We stopped once each way.
Do you get like car sickness or anything like that? Is that why you don't take
in the
long
back?
drives?
I would. In the back, I would, but I'm sitting up front and good conversation, good music, and there is that pocket. I don't care how good of a friend the other person is, where you're like, okay, what else can I talk about that's engaging?
But then
thinking like Central American politics. Let's go heavy into that in the next 3 counties.
But people underestimate good silence. Like sometimes.
Oh no, I can't do that.
No.
No. Because then I just think, what are you thinking about? Like, I wonder if he like hates my guts and like wants to open the door and push me out right now or something.
Like when we went to Colombia, like I love like my wife's mom was driving, my mother-in-law was driving. I'm sitting in the back. I'm just looking at the mountains.
They're not talking at all.
I mean, they might be talking amongst
What if they're
themselves.
talking
Also,
about you?
they
'Cause know
probably
your
are.
Spanish isn't that good.
They
Yeah.
probably
That's a
are.
little bit different if you're sightseeing. But if you're just cruising on 75 and up to I-10.
But I'm also the one that's always driving. So if I get a chance to be a passenger, sometimes even if it's just looking at the trees.
Yeah, I need the constant dialogue. Yeah.
Okay.
Even when I'm driving myself, I'll have a conversation. Just yeah.
That explains a lot.
All right, here's the World Cup update. We are down to 2 matches in the World Cup. Tomorrow, the third place match that nobody wants to play, but England and France will play at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Sunday, the World Cup final with a very interesting storyline. Those wildfires from Canada have made it a very, very smoky Northeast. If you watched the Mets and Phillies play last night on ESPN, it looked uncomfortable. And in New York, New Jersey on Sunday, they think it may be a factor when it comes to this match. It'll start at 3 o'clock when Spain and Argentina will play. Spain looks for second World Cup. Argentina looks to become back-to-back World Cup champions. 3 o'clock the match on Sunday. Again, tomorrow's third place match takes place in Miami. Messi, who I don't know what the argument is about greatest ever, would just add to the resume if he wins another World Cup. And for Spain, a couple of 19-year-olds that are the future lead that incredible team. World Cup update brought to you by friends at Fitter's Green Irish Pub.
Let's really do the news.
Yes.
Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
7 o'clock hour, WYJ Orlando, WJR HD2 Cocoa Beach. Let's get to the news. Not one, but two 8 under 62 shot today in the second round of the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale in Southport, England. Lucas Herbert is at 8 under par with a 2-shot lead. He shot his 62 earlier today, as did American Sam Burns, who shot a 3 over 73 yesterday, but plays himself right back into contention with a 62 of himself. He sits 3 shots back. Cameron Young and Jackson Suber are at 6 under par, 2 shots back. Among the other names out there playing round 2 right now, Bryson DeChambeau is -3. He's even for the day after 3 holes. And Scotty Scheffler stands at 2 under par. He's even after 3. John Rahm's at 2 under as well. Rory McIlroy, who scrambled to get to a 72 yesterday, shoots a 67 today, and he gets himself back in it at 1 under par. Round 2 continues. Mentioned before, the World Cup final set for Sunday in what could be a smoky MetLife Stadium in New Jersey because of the wildfires over in Canada. But England and France will play in the third-place match tomorrow, and then it's Argentina and Spain playing on Sunday at 3 o'clock. MLS is back in action, trying to take advantage of the World Cup vibe. El Tráfico's played tonight. The 2 LA teams will play, and they moved that match to Fox. It was originally scheduled for FS1. Mets did beat the Phillies 4-1 as baseball returned last night under that smoke in Philadelphia. The college football world of media days as the ACC winds down. It's set for 4 days of the SEC next week in Tampa. 4 days over in Tampa next week. Let's see. Dodgers-Yankees, part of the baseball weekend. That'll get primetime coverage all 3 nights tonight on MLB. Fox on Saturday, NBC on Sunday. If you want to count the highest payrolls in baseball, the Dodgers first and the Yankees third. Total combined dollars committed over $1 billion.
Who's second?
The Mets.
Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Juan Soto alone's up there.
F1's got the Belgium Grand Prix this weekend. Fanatics Fest will welcome 200,000 people this weekend at the Javits Center in New York. We talked about the prices for some things. If you want to get a picture with Jalen Brunson, about $940, $937.40 to be exact. Chris would like to get 2.
Again. How many are you taking?
I'm not into that stuff, so it's just a little bit different. But whatever you think, they get everybody. I cannot imagine what Michael Rubin pays for all these people, but it's incredible. By the way, do you know what the admission price? Forget about what you want to pay, Chris. Forget about what you want to pay. If you just want to walk in, want to guess?
Say $250.
It's $81.54 Thursday, yesterday, today, and Sunday. Tomorrow, because there's even bigger names, it's $93.19.
Random pricing.
Today, let's see. LeBron James is on a main stage at 12 o'clock. At 12:30, Tom Brady, Serena Williams, James Harden, Candace Park, and Lindsey Vonn on the main stage. FIFA does a press conference with players and coaches for the World Cup final. Today, Karl Anthony Towns, most expensive picture, $337.90. Antoine Griezmann, the member now of Orlando City, he and former Orlando City player Kaká sold out. Can't buy any more tickets to take a picture with them. A-Rod, $321.55.
Who determines how many pictures are then considered sellout or sold out?
I don't know. Good question, but I don't know. Because I guess they figure out timing of how long it takes for a picture, and maybe they've reached the max there. Saturday, Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco will do their podcast from there. The WWE Saturday Night Main Event crew will be there as well.
What is the likelihood LeBron James announces his new team at Fanatics Fan Fest?
You might want to tune in for what we'll be talking about Monday in about 30 minutes. 12:15 Saturday. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Kevin Durant at 1:30. Draymond Green at 3 o'clock. Yeah, Brunson sold out. Mikal Bridges sold out.
Who doesn't want a picture with Cat? Why isn't he sold out?
Sunday, Lil Wayne.
Wheezy, baby.
Eli Manning. Yeah. And then back is Brady on Sunday at 12 o'clock on the main stage.
Okay.
We come back the week that was, the week in review for the Beat of Sports. Let's do a live show within the show segment. You want to do that?
Why not?
If you're on the video stream, the two of you that are there, click on
15.
and yeah. So we'll do that. Go to our YouTube page, 96.9 The Game Orlando. Click on the live button and the logo, or on Twitter, 96.9 Game On. We'll do a little show within the show. Maybe a little chat. What do you want to ask? Ask a question. Make it personal. I don't care. We'll come back with a week in review next. Yeah. So for the two people online, or maybe a couple of others,
15.
Okay, you wouldn't pay for an autograph.
No.
But is there somebody that if you were in either a convention center or like a Cowboy Fest and you were in Dallas, would you wait in line?
Autographs don't do anything for me.
Autograph or picture? Nothing?
I'm not paying for it.
No. I mean, let's just say you had a chance to take a photo with CeeDee Lamb.
I mean, I'll take a picture. Again, I'm not paying for it, though.
How long would you wait in line? Let's say you got invited to a VIP event, okay, and you didn't know it's a Cowboy Fan Fest, going to a VIP event. Somebody gave you tickets, and they said, hey, for you special VIP people, CeeDee Lamb is here. There's about 150 of you in here. Just be respectful. But if you want to line up and take a photo, would you do that?
I'd give it like 15 minutes. I'm doing other stuff.
Okay. All right.
Like these don't really.
Anybody in the stream, what have you paid or would you pay?
What about you?
Nothing. And by the way, ask me how many minutes I'd wait.
Probably 0.
None.
Exactly.
But I told you this before. To me, what matters, I have no problem with the people that pay and do this. I told you, my daughter and son-in-law love to go to the Comic-Con shows, and in advance, and it means something to them. I get more out of meeting a person, even though they'll forget me in 10 seconds, of even saying, hey, I really appreciated your career over the years, or it's a pleasure meeting you, and they're polite back. That is more value to me than standing in line and I'm moving slowly through this assembly line to go and okay, please smile. Okay, to me it means nothing. To some people though, it means something, and that's okay.
Like one of my favorite moments all time of me working in this industry is like I haven't gotten to meet a lot of people for what I do because I'm always the one back in studio.
I can't go anywhere.
But no, my favorite moment came as an intern when I got to screen a phone call for Chipper Jones. It wasn't, I didn't have to wait in line.
Oh my God, Chipper, you're my favorite player.
Yeah,
did you do that?
I fangirled out.
Did you really?
I did. I was an intern. I didn't care.
Okay.
So I got to talk to Chipper for like 15, 20 seconds. That was awesome. I got to talk to Roy Jones Jr.
Remember that game against the Mets when he had a double in the 8th inning to drive home 2? That was cool.
All right, I wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I would much rather have an organic meeting.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that matters, to me. And
Like, how many of these athletes even want to be there? I don't know if they want to be there
These
unless they're
guys?
getting paid.
Oh, it's the money.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
you
they
think
don't even-
Jalen Brunson wants to spend 5 hours at Fanatics Fan Fest?
Exactly. So I don't-
Which then makes you understand how much money he's getting to be there
Mhm.
and how much money Michael Rubin pays all these people to be there. Now, it's part of the marketing deal that he's got with them. Then, hey, you're required to go. But, I mean, it's massive amounts of money.
It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, not sports related, but I told a story before. When we were traveling a couple times over the years, I got bumped off the UCF charter because I wanted to bring other VIPs, and it's fine. We flew commercial. It wasn't a COVID year, because it was after he ran for president when Mitt Romney, and he was just at the Orlando airport,
Mhm.
and he was at an adjacent gate. He had ordered pizza from Sbarro's when I was in line getting something else, and I walked over and I just said, Mitt, just a pleasure to meet you. I appreciate, and he was great. I didn't ask for an autograph, didn't ask for a photo, but, guy that runs for president,
Mhm.
kind of a big moment. He wasn't surrounded by security. He was just a regular guy at the airport and everything, and it was fine.
Again, and sometimes you
By
catch
the time I met Rick Scott in the Starbucks, okay, after Frank Vogel was in the Starbucks and Rick Scott came in with security, and all I said was, Governor, nice to meet you. How are jobs? I'm like, what? How's the job market? I'm not quizzing you. It was just a hello. True story. Starbucks on Colonial. Frank Vogel got his Starbucks. 3 people in front of me. Had a brief conversation talking basketball at Vogel, which was fine. And then all of a sudden, 2 security people and a staffer come in with Rick Scott. Okay. And again, I don't care about your politics. I just said, Governor, nice to meet you. He goes, nice to meet you. How are jobs? I'm looking around going, what? It's like, how's the job market? I got one. It's good. Like, settle down, dude. You don't need to campaign. We're here to get a cup of coffee. It's good.
like I would much rather meet someone and just see them be their true selves rather than force a smile, fake a smile, and just be there for the money. Like, God, I'd much rather be anywhere else than here.
Yeah, and part of why I'm poisoned on all of it is that just I've seen the examples of the 45-year-old with a duffel bag trying to get 30 autographs. I'll never forget when we were in Vegas and the Olympic team was training there, and guys just walk off the elevator, and there's little kids that truly want an autograph, and then there's the 45-year-old out of shape guy that's shoving the kid out of the way with a duffel bag trying to get Steph Curry to sign 30 basketball. Like, I hate you, and you've ruined the image of all that for people.
Yeah. No, it's not fair, and they don't even care about the autograph. They just want to sell it, which completely kills
That's
the
why I say,
experience.
if you bring anything to me, I'll sign any name you want. Doesn't matter. All right. We got Week in Review coming up.
Missed anything during the week?
What?
We've got you covered.
Yeah! Here we go!
Let's take a look back at the week that was. It's the Beat of Sports Week in Review with Marc Daniels.
Time to look back the week that was as we gathered on Monday and chatted about a whole bunch of things. Kurt Badenhausen of Sportico joined us. We're talking about the evolution of sports and how things have changed over the years when it comes to valuations of teams.
It has changed quite a bit, and you're also seeing the evolution where it isn't necessarily, forever the NFL was one rich guy came in and wrote the check. You saw that with the Walton family in Detroit, in Denver. Before that, it was David Tepper in Carolina. The sale before that was the Pagulas in Buffalo. These are people, the Haslams in Cleveland. They just wrote the check, bought, 80, 90% or 100% of the team. Josh Harris showed a new way to buy these franchises where he put down basically 30%, raised the rest of the money. And I think you're going to see something similar out in raising a lot of the money. You can borrow $1.5 billion. Most people will go out and take advantage of that to put towards the purchase of a team. But I think you also see LPs come in just because the price tag has gotten so high. You have private equity now able to be part of these ownership groups. So the evolution is certainly been going on in terms of what these ownership groups look like.
It has changed so much as, we're talking with Kurt, used to be the guy that owns multiple car dealerships was able to buy your sports team in town. Now you've got to go beyond the single owner because private equity and sovereign funds and all sorts of things. It's a different world when you're starting to get $10+ billion per team. On Tuesday, Matt Michelle was by for his weekly visit. I asked Matt for his thoughts about Tom Herman, the odd mid-July hiring to join the staff at Florida State.
Again, I think that shows that Mike Norvell is serious about trying to win. He wants to get back to where they are. You bring in a coach who's got experience. He was at Texas. He was at FAU. He's a guy that can come in and maybe help you out, especially offensively. A guy who can come in and maybe, add an additional voice. I think we saw a little bit of that in programs around the country where, guys who are either head coaches at one point or another come back as an assistant or coordinator or whatever, or even just even coming in to kind of add as an analyst to kind of maybe help them out. It's important for some of these head coaches to have those voices in the room. And I mean, those were things that maybe can help a coach take that next level. Look at what happened at UCF. They brought in Sean Clark, last year. And, Scott talked about Sean was really kind of a huge voice in their room, when it came to helping him out, when it came to, some of the decisions making. So when they lost Sean, obviously that was a big blow for them. But I think you're seeing a lot of programs doing that. I think Mike Norvell just believes having Tom around will probably maybe help them out and give them a chance to maybe improve what they did last year.
J.C. Carnahan, who writes for Orlando Business Journal these days, joined us on Wednesday as he had the story about the Orlando Dreamers going to the Tourist Development Tax Board, and they will seek $975 million, which they did when Pat Williams was alive 3 years ago, back to look at a deal that may help build a baseball stadium either for the Rays or some other team. And JC was asked by me if there's been any talk between the two sides.
Yeah, from what I understand, there's no current discussion between the two groups. And obviously the people, I've also followed the reporting from the Tampa Business Journal as well. And so it seems to be pretty clear that, Tampa, the ownership group for the Rays, the new group, is dead set on trying to work something out in that area. And so the Dreamers right now are not trying to wave the flag and say, hey, bring the Rays here right now. Jim mentioned that, hey, they're in a couple of years, there could be also opportunity for a few other teams. And I don't know if that's the White Sox or, there could be some other owners that would be willing to sell franchises. And I think that the Dreamers are staying away from this idea of like, hey, let's try to, publicly say that we want this team or that team to relocate to Orlando, because that's probably bad business. But the reality is they can't put all their eggs in the basket for the Rays coming over here, because they still believe that they could be in position to have an expansion team.
On Thursday, Paul Tenorio joined us, who covers soccer for The Athletic and has his new book, The Messi Effect, out. And I asked Paul if there is a fair criticism of anything regarding Lionel Messi.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you would love for the most important player in the league to be available at least once or twice a year minimum, right? I mean, he's given one press conference since he joined Major League Soccer, and that was in that first month of his time here in the U.S. ahead of the Leagues Cup final. Other than that, he's never spoken to local media. He's only done interviews with outlets in Argentina and Spain that he's very comfortable with, and a few interviews one-on-one that have been set up via Apple with NBC and with Apple itself. So I think there, certainly we could criticize that, and the league is very unhappy with that situation. They were hoping that they'd get more of a David Beckham type figure who embraced the idea of being the face of the league, who wanted to sell the sport. And Messi just has no interest in that.
That is our week in review.
Stud of the week.
For me, it's got to be the guy who just more than doubled his salary by winning the home run derby. Jordan Walker down to his final out, homers in
final swing. Yeah.
Homers in 6 straight at bats against hometown favorite Kyle Schwarber to win the home run derby. Dude's making $700,000+ this year, more than doubles his salary by winning the home run derby. Come on, man, good for him. Good for Jordan Walker.
Yeah, it's a great story. I saw the viewers. One of the lowest home run derbies we've had in quite some time, so people are picking on Netflix. Netflix, I wouldn't say they don't care, but the entry portal of that crowd to Netflix, I don't know what percentage are brand new or there, and they're going to measure it differently than the traditional numbers of a home run derby of what we had before. I enjoyed watching it. I admit, because he made it exciting, it became a bigger event, a little bit too long, okay, but whatever. It's all good. Can I be a homer for my stud of the week?
Of course.
I remember, I think exactly where I was. I was sitting in a press box at Penn State when UCF was going to play a baseball game against Penn State. They called the game because of expected rain, and it was sunny and clear at 6 o'clock that night. But neither team wanted to play. We were off to West Virginia to play a really big series, and UCF won 2 or 3. That was the weekend that Braden Smith had the line drive that came back and hit him. And I said I was concerned about the United States and the anticipation of the World Cup. I said we're a few months out, and we lacked the buzz, and we didn't have much energy going on and all that stuff. As the World Cup ends on Sunday, I will say this. The U.S. team itself gave us 3 weeks plus of a really cool run. They went through the group play. They got to the round of 32, and yes, the loss to Belgium made it a dud, and then the criticism about the national team and where it goes. But my stud is to what our country put on. Okay, it's easy for people to dislike and even use the harsh word of hate of America for a variety of things. But as far as throwing a party and how this event should be remembered, this was a home run in every level. Packed stadiums, and yes, Mexico and Canada hosted matches, but packed stadiums, bringing people together from all across the world. And you can say, well, that happens at every World Cup. Yeah, call me in 4 years where the World Cup is and where it was 4 years ago. It was nothing like America. And that's not a knock on the Middle East. It's just, it's different. We didn't build one stadium. We had the stadiums. Mm-hmm. We had destinations that people love coming to or love the idea of coming to. And all the viral videos that went out there, and not everything is perfect. There are people that, got screwed on tickets and all sorts of. But in the end, it was an incredible event. Incredible. And if you don't watch another international soccer match for 4 years, that's okay. But even some of the harshest critics of soccer had to step back and go, yeah, it was kind of cool. It was pretty neat. So my stud is America putting on the World Cup for the last 6 weeks.
America, baby.
Yeah.
Stud of the week.
You're 41 years old. Pick a damn team already. LeBron James, my God. And whether Adam Silver was joking or not, the fact that he said we're waiting on LeBron James so we can finalize our schedule is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Better be careful. Steph Curry said if he signs with us, it's going to be at least 60 national television appearances. He's right.
Okay, is Steph Curry signing in Orlando?
That would have been cool, but he's
okay,
not.
Exactly. So, moot point. LeBron James. Good Lord. How much of a diva can you be? Pick a damn team, move on, let this be your farewell tour, and ride off into the sunset. I can't recall any other superstar that is this much of a prima donna, me, all eyes on me at all times. Get over yourself, dude. Get over it. Get over yourself. LeBron James, my dud of the week.
I mentioned earlier when Richard Hale was on with us in our sports law segment about the University of Michigan. It is one of our great institutions for academics and research. It's been one of our great institutions for sports, particularly in football and certainly in basketball, the national championship, and belongs in any discussion among great American universities. I do think they're embarrassing themselves and will continue to embarrass themselves. Clearly, they had major issues in their athletic department. And clearly, by the number of people that face a ban or penalty to be part of any college football team and coaching because of what Jim Harbaugh and the staff, and then Sharon Moore and what took place, and clearly what appears to be a cover-up on many levels of what people knew. And the idea that you're going to hide a report that may expose the wrongdoing is embarrassing to the great brand that Michigan built for better than a century. Look, your own president made the statement a week and a half ago regarding rule changes in college sports. He kind of let the secret out of the bag. Why would we give up the advantage we've built for more than 100 years over other universities? But this is going to blow up in your face. It will. That report is going to come out. It will lead to people losing their jobs and likely lead to tens of millions of dollars in settlement and legal fees that are going to be paid. There's no easy way out, and the cover-up never works at this level. The brand will survive. The brand will survive because it is that big. But I think the dark days are ahead from a standpoint of embarrassing, and people are going to lose their jobs, and that's at the highest level at Michigan, and they're my dud of the week on the cover-up. Back with what we'll talk about on Monday next.
The weekend is coming, and we've already seen the script. From the locker room drama to the mind-boggling calls, we're giving you the weekend spoilers on a Friday. Here's what will we be talking about Monday.
All right, you ready, Chris?
Let's hear it.
By the way, somebody asked why I spell my name with a C in the chat. Maybe I'm just a little bit creative and different, man. Is it that odd? I mean, I know a lot of people spell Mark with a K, but it's not that odd, is it?
It's not.
Blame my parents.
I don't know.
Why do I spell my name with a C?
Because you control how you spelled your name.
There's also a silent H in there.
Begins with a silent G.
Okay. I was wrong on both semifinals of the World Cup. So I believe Spain is going to win a Sunday's World Cup match. I think they're going to score first, and they're going to go into a lockdown that is going to be really tough. They're the best passing team in this tournament, and that's how they play keep away. They score early and go, yeah, but Argentina. And by the way, I can't argue because of what Messi and Argentina have done late in the match. They have not led a single knockout game, meaning once you got a group stage, after 90 minutes. By the way, Cape Verde should automatically win third place. They took both these teams into extra time. Okay. But I'm going to pick Spain 2-1.
Swan song from Messi. Argentina's going to win.
Oh, you think the benefit of a few calls here, huh?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just said swan
I'm going
song.
to take Spain 2-1.
I'll go Argentina, same score.
Okay. I mean, you might be right because of what they've done, for crying out loud. So I picked Colin Morikawa before the Open Championship. He's 2 under par right now, so he'd have to get to work. He shot an even par 70 today, but he's only 6 shots back, so I'll stay with that. I'm not going to jump ship on there. Lucas Herbert, Cam Young, Jackson Super, Sam Burns, Matt Wallace, Bud Cauley. This is not exactly got to get up early Sunday to watch, but I'll stick with that. But here's what I do think will happen. On Sunday, if there is an American in contention, you'll get, like we did at the U.S. Open, you'll get a Ryder Cup atmosphere of rooting against the American, like we were rooting for the American here. That's just going to happen. It will. 2 other quick ones. The Yankees and Dodgers play this weekend in New York. The ticket prices are incredible, as you would imagine, for that. The Yankees have really, really quiet about Aaron Judge and his injury. And I think it's because they know the odds of him coming back are very, very small this season. And I'm just predicting not by Monday. I think the Yankees know he's probably not coming back this year, but simply do not want to announce it because of what that would mean. So yeah, I think that is on the table. And Chris asked me earlier and about LeBron James. There's no way LeBron James doesn't know where he's playing by now. There's nothing else. There's no more money to be offered. Whatever teams are interested in LeBron James, they've made their pitch. There's not an extra $10, $20 million. So Chris said at the Fanatics Fest, will he announce where he's playing? And Chris, here's my prediction. No, but it will leak out before we get here Monday.
Do you have a guess as to where he will be playing next year?
I believe he's going to play in either Cleveland or Miami, which means he'll be in Philadelphia. Yeah. Let's talk to Kurt from Maxine's on Shine, who joins us on these Fridays. Good day, sir. Happy Christmas in July, getting set for your great dinner show tonight.
We are indeed, brother. Absolutely. And kind of like LeBron being a surprise present under the tree to somebody on Monday, we got that going on tonight, man. I mean, it really, Mark, for any of us, any day could be Christmas Day if we have the right attitude in our hearts. A little love, little gratitude, little joy, little service to one another.
Can't we just be happy? Listen, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you'll agree. I said this. If there's a lesson to be learned about the last 6 weeks of the World Cup, we're not that different. It's easy to get along. Like I always say, it's easy to be kind, right? And isn't life better when you're kind?
Life is a lot better when you're kind, indeed. And and I tell you what, man, and that can come in all kinds of ways, shapes, and forms.
Yeah.
And the way to and rewarding yourself in that is actually just doing it and how good you feel.
Yeah.
So in this case, though, we get to add the bonus of some crazy showmanship and rock and roll, brother. I mean, tonight it is going to be outstanding. Take the music of, say, AC/DC, Ozzy Osbourne, Prince, Pink Floyd, David Bowie, Led Zeppelin, some of their classic tunes, man, and then go ahead and change some of the lyrics in some of their songs to reflect that very positive outlook in life. And oh, by the way, it's going to come in a huge, loud, in-your-face kind of presentation from Bad Santa and the very, very angry elves. Man, I tell you, it's sitting around this tree ain't going to be like any other tree that you're going to have at any other Christmas time. So we're really excited, Mark, tonight. It is the world premiere of Exile from the North Pole. So these guys have been doing this gig for almost 10 years here in Orlando, every year, a different classic rock album. Well, this year they're taking it to the original Fringe Fest in Edinburgh, Scotland, and they're going to put it on the world stage, the World Cup, if you will, of Fringe festivals. There, I thought you might like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're going to be taking it over there. We're going to be the very first and only place that you're going to get to see this show here in Orlando. And if you guys want to help put a little extra fuel in Santa's sleigh to help get him over there, fire up the reindeers, that kind of thing, we'd love to have you come out tonight. The doors are opening at 5:30. The opening act's about 6:15. Bad Santa's going to hit the stage about 7. It's about an hour and a half rock opera that's going to be going on. We got a great 3-course meal with you. It's going to include our North Atlantic salmon, braised brisket with mushroom bordelaise, chicken milanese for the summertime, beautiful. On the entrees, we've got some great appetizers, great drinks. Tonight, Jameson is the official drink special. So we've got some really cool stuff that we're going to be doing tonight on shots and drinks to help raise the money and also raise that warm and fuzzy factor deep down inside your heart to go ahead and coordinate and go along with Bad Santa and the Angry Elves. I do have a few tickets available. The easiest way to get those is going online to MaxinesOnShine.com. Right there on the homepage, if you scroll down just a little bit, y'all, you'll see in our calendar section the link for Bad Santa and Angry Elves. It'll give you all the information, the pricing on there, and let you go ahead and buy those tickets. If there is any availability for walk-ins, we will take those. For those of you that might be interested in coming out and seeing us tonight, but saying, maybe not my gig, we will have outdoor dining on our outdoor garden patio area. I will have plenty of ice, water loaded up in those swamp coolers, going to make it really nice and comfortable for you. It will be a limited menu, but we will have outdoor dining available for you as well on this evening. So with that being said, as you guys always know, Rejuvenation Brunch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 5 p.m. Brunch, 5 p.m. would be a little late. Brunch 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Seating for dinner Wednesday through Saturday nights, 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. Everyone, we are in mid-season form for that foodie in you that's searching out for those great price fix menus. Starting next week on July 24th, Sip and Savor. Don't forget, y'all, in your Main Street districts, a lot of restaurants around town are getting on board and in their home area, they're deciding what kind of deals they're doing. What we're going to be doing is we're going to bring back that 3-course $38 price fix menu like we did for Bite 30. So many of you came out and enjoyed that. We will be running that beginning July 24th. So look for those great opportunities and values in that. Do have to make a reminder to everybody, like all of y'all, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We do close on Sunday, July 26th for a few days, give everybody a little bit of time, get away, and then we reopen on Friday, July 31st. And that night, we're going to open up with Beam Me Up, Babe. That's right, Vaudeville Entertainment is back. It's going to be a supper club show, and it is going to be amazing. Alien, supposed to watch over the earth. She crashes, female, falls in love with a cowboy. It's a fun rom-com kind of show, and we're going to have a beautiful meal on that. Tickets available online. For all information, please go online to MaxinesOnShine.com. Right there on the homepage, you can click on the book open table tab to make reservations. You can look at our calendar section for musical lineups, hours, promotions, all that kind of stuff. We'd love to have you come out and come see us. Thank you so much for the love and support of Maxine's Sunshine. And don't forget tonight, Bad Santa and the Angry Elves. You don't want him leaving you a lump of coal when Christmas really does roll around in December. Much love to everybody. Have a fantastic day, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Back to
Cheers.
wrap up the week next.
news, gossip, trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
World Cup tickets for the final have not yet come down. Maybe that'll happen tomorrow as we get to Sunday, but it's a monster ticket to get in. Far more expensive than any Super Bowl you could think of. Chris wants 4. Midfield,
I appreciate you thinking I actually make that much money.
Well, I didn't say you'd buy him. You'd want 4.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you have the weekend, Chris?
Tonight I am bartending at Castleberry. Come check out the
all right. Check
newly
it out.
renovated spot, the kitchen. That again, Bobby mentioned it earlier. The dill pickle flatbread is just amazing.
Nice.
So come have a beer there, and then Saturday I'll be in Avalon Park,
Okay.
playing in some beers.
So go sad to Chris, working up a weekend this weekend. Coming back on Monday to kick off a new week. SEC Media Days next week. So more college football hype. Miss any of this program, go where you get your favorite podcast, type in the Beat of Sports on Demand and get access to the entire show while there. Subscribe, get it downloaded, and listen when it works for you. You can replay the video stream back, go to our YouTube page, 96 in the Game Orlando, and watch it there. He's Chris.
I'm
I'm
Chris.
Mark with a C. Have a great weekend. We end the week telling you do something kind for someone who doesn't expect it. They'll appreciate it. You feel good about yourself. It is easy to be kind. See you Monday.